Hello everyone, I am Anita Fernandez and I welcome you all to the Aviation and IATA tutorial. In my earlier video, I had spoken about aviation geography and a subtopic planning travel itineraries and basic steps in itinerary planning. So we learned how to make a travel itinerary or a booking and what are the 5 categories that are involved in it, that is space, interest, details, energy and routing. So when we do a travel booking or a travel itinerary for a passenger or a customer, we have to keep all these 5 elements in mind and do the booking accordingly as per the convenience of the passenger. Today we will learn about TC1, TC2 and TC3 areas. So coming back to the heading Aviation Geography. When we see this heading, we understand that geography is nothing but something related about the world in a common sense. And here in aviation, what does that geography is about? What does it speak about? We know. According to aviation subject or a discipline, the whole world map or the whole world is divided into 3 categories, and that is what is known as TC1, TC2 and TC3 areas. These areas are also known as global indicators. I repeat, the categories as per aviation that the world is divided into are into 3 parts, that is TC1, TC2 and TC3 areas. So let us learn about TC1. What do we mean by TC1? TC1 composed of Western Hemisphere, that is North America, Central America, Caribbean islands, South America. So when we go to the map here, we see the whole of the American continent, and above that Canada, Greenland and all the adjacent islands come under TC1. So in order to remember in a very easy or a simpler way, we understand that TC1 is nothing but the entire American continent, north and south, and in addition to other countries that is surrounded with that continent. And to the left hand side of the world map is known as TC1. So let's learn a little bit more about TC1. All of the North and South American continents and adjacent islands, Greenland, Bermuda, the West Indies and the islands of the Caribbean, the Hawaiian Islands, including Midway and Palmyra. So this is in detail of this entire continent that we see from here, Greenland to Canada to USA, Mexico and the whole of the South American continent. All this whole area is known as TC1. So now we'll go about TC2. What is TC2 and what are the countries that involve in it? TC2 involves Europe, Africa, Middle East. As we can see here, Europe, actually in general terms, Europe continent comes this entire above continent. But as per aviation geography, left side part of the Europe and the African continent and the Middle East comprises of TC2. I repeat, the left side of the European continent the Middle East countries, and the whole of the African continent comes under TC2. So let's learn in detail what exactly comes under TC2. All of Europe, including that part of Russia in Europe, as we can see in the map here, Russia is in this brown color. So that part of Russia, which we can commonly understand as the left hand side part of the Russia, comes under TC2. And adjacent islands, Iceland, the Azores, all of Africa and adjacent islands, Ascension Island, that part of Asia lying west of and including Iran. So we also see that the west part of the Asian continent also comes under TC2, and the west part usually comprises of Iran country. So this is about TC2. Next, we learn about TC3 area. It involves Southeast Asia, South Asian subcontinent, Japan, Korea, Southwest Pacific sub-area. So when we see the map here, we understand to our right hand side of the world map, including Europe, Asia, the islands here, and Australia, New Zealand, all this comprises of TC3 area. TC3, all of Asia and adjacent islands, except the portion included in Area 2. So as we see the map, excluding this area of Europe and Asia, this remaining area of Europe and this remaining area of Asia comes under TC3. All the East Indies, Australia, New Zealand and adjacent islands, the islands of the Pacific Ocean, except those included in Area 1. So whatever the islands that are not included in TC1 comes under TC3, and whatever is included in TC1, the islands, that doesn't come in TC3. So in simple ways, we can say that the left part, the extreme left part of the world map, that is the entire American continent and the above countries of Greenland and Canada, comes under TC1. The middle part of the world map, which includes the left side of the European continent, the west side of the Asian continent, and the entire African continent, comes under TC2. And TC3, the remaining part of the European and Asian continent, the adjacent islands, and the countries down south, Australia and New Zealand, come under TC3. That's all we have for the TC1, TC2 and TC3 areas. Do remember that they are also known as global indicators, and TC1 is also known as the Western Hemisphere as it comes to the west of the map, and TC2 and TC3 are known as the Eastern Hemisphere. Okay, as per aviation, it is known as the Eastern Hemisphere, that is TC2 and TC3. That's all we have for today. Thank you.